Welcome to the Fill Your Cups podcast. We're your hosts, Morgan
and Bailey. Before we dive in, we want to give you a reminder that we have been sharing our bi-weekly meal plans on Instagram. One of those just went up yesterday. Yesterday was Morgan's week, so make sure that you guys are checking that out and getting your meal ideas. We know that most of you guys already follow us on our Instagram, but we want to make sure that you're also following our TikTok. So go on there and find us at Fill Your Cups Podcast to stay up to date with us there.
Yeah, so today in our episode, we're having a conversation all about serotonin, aka one of the happy chemicals. And in this episode, we're running through several ways that we have learned help boost our mood and release serotonin. I do want to give a little disclaimer real quick that I have been getting over a cough, so there might be some points. It actually might be easier to distinguish mine and Bailey's voices from one another. Someone told me recently that they could barely tell the difference between our voices. Yeah, on our podcast. So just a heads up on that. But we are really excited to be talking about serotonin today. So let's dive right in.
Let's get it. Good morning. What's filling your cup today?
So I am kind of getting over a cough, and I just have some water, but it has one of those emergency packets.
Good.
Have you heard of those? It's
Yes.
got like zinc and vitamin C and all the stuff that's supposed to help your immune system or whatever.
Yes.
So drinking one of those. What about you?
I have 2 drinks today. I've got a good old water, and I've got a good old Dr. Pepper from Taco Bell.
Ooh.
Which I've really been trying to, I feel like you know this, but I've tried to stop drinking Dr. Pepper, and then this holiday week has killed me.
Oh,
really? I feel like I'm sliding back into every bad habit I had, so I'm excited to get back on it after this holiday week.
I feel like when I slide into some kind of thing like that, over a holiday or a birthday or whatever it is, some kind of celebration, I feel like it always feels like, okay, Monday rolls around and I'm like, I'm back at it.
Yep, I'm back, baby. Yeah, because right now I'm like, ooh, it's just a holiday. It's just fun. But then I'm finding myself craving Dr. Pepper at 8 or 9 p.m. like I used to when I was 20.
Oh, dang.
Oh, my God.
When you were 20, your whole life.
I know.
When you were 2. No,
Up
I'm just
until
kidding.
2 months ago.
That's funny. Well,
Anyway.
we hope that you all are sipping on something yummy. We wanted to give a shout out. We love to shout out our people.
Yes.
And we put up a little one of those questions on our Instagram story. If you don't follow us on Instagram, it's at Fill Your Cups Podcasts. And we put up what's filling your cup as a question. We got several responses, which thank you. I honestly didn't see them until this morning, so I'm really excited
I saw
about
all
that.
of them, and I loved reading them. I thought it was so fun.
Yeah, so one from Jordan that we really, really loved that was filling her cup was, she said, I was able to attend an adoption hearing for one of my students. So beautiful, with a ton of exclamation points. And that is so beautiful.
That's so cool that she got to do that. What a thing to be able to witness.
I know.
That's so
I
awesome.
love that so much.
Well, the topic of this episode today is going to be talking about serotonin and how to boost that. So speaking of our Instagram stories, we had also put something on our Instagram story a while ago asking our followers, which episode title are you the most likely to click on?
Yeah.
And then we just put a bunch of different titles in there.
It was one of those poll questions.
Yeah. So with 4 different options, and we really just wanted to gauge what our audience was wanting to hear the most. And I had put this one on here of a how to boost your serotonin, as it wasn't a podcast idea. It was just it had keywords in it that I felt if someone voted for this one, we would know what people want to hear.
Yeah.
But this one won by a landslide.
Yeah, it really did.
Which was so unexpected to me. I was really not picturing this one winning. But we had so much more votes on this one than any of the other options that we had on there. So I was like, wait, maybe we should just do an actual episode for this then.
Yeah.
I am really excited to get into this one today of just how to boost your serotonin.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that we need to start with what is serotonin.
Yes. What is serotonin?
Because not everybody knows.
So I found this one an actual definition from the dictionary. So
You didn't make it up?
No, I did not make this one up. Morgan told me earlier she thought I did, and then I said, you're absolutely wild if you thought that. But serotonin is a neurotransmitter, which is a chemical messenger, involved in many processes throughout your body, from regulating your mood to promoting smooth digestion. It is also known for promoting quality sleep. It is known to help regulate your appetite, to help learn and improve your memory. And it is helpful in promoting positive feelings and pro-social behavior. That is the real definition. Now, in layman's terms, Morgan had a good one.
Yeah, I think that when we were talking about it, I was saying that was it when I was talking about serotonin versus dopamine? Or
yes.
Okay, because every time I talk about like a little boost of serotonin, Jared's always like, I think you mean dopamine. And I'm like, I don't mean dopamine.
Yes.
So what I was reading about when I specifically am talking about serotonin.
Yeah.
But what I was reading about when I was reading about dopamine versus serotonin, they go hand in hand. They're very similar. They're both neurotransmitters. But dopamine is like that little hit you get when you do something that tells you that you want to keep doing it. Mm-hmm. It is actually kind of responsible for some addictions.
Oh,
so like you get
absolutely.
The little bit boost of dopamine that you get when you like smoke or when you drink or whatever. That tells you to keep doing it. And so it can be good. You can utilize it to like tell you to keep exercising or like something like that. They both are related to like mood and sleep and things like that, but just in different ways. And so serotonin is more of like the long lasting one. And so serotonin is when you do an activity that boosts, that you get a hit of serotonin, instead of it telling you to keep doing that thing, it just elevates your mood and
kind of says, yeah, that felt really good.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes you kind of feel content with that. So it doesn't necessarily stop you from keeping going, but it doesn't tell you, I need more of that, you know?
Okay, yeah.
So it's more like a mood booster. And both of them, again, like play a role in sleep and different parts of digestion and things like that. But that's how I understand them to be different. So serotonin's almost more like I would call it like mood enhancing, and dopamine's more like motivation enhancing. Ooh. And so that's how I think of them. Yeah. But, you know, I'm not a scientist.
I was going to say, we are not scientists. Some of these are scientifically backed, but also some of these are just ones that Morgan and I made up and live by. Yeah, so that's kind of like how it impacts your life. So obviously serotonin is very important because you need that boost. I know earlier you were talking to me about how your body doesn't naturally.
Oh, yes. So it's kind of like vitamin C, that episode that we were talking about, that your body doesn't produce it on its own. So serotonin is not made in the body. Like we don't naturally produce it.
And I did not know that.
Yeah, so it comes from amino acids or tryptophan, which is an amino acid, and you can only get that by eating foods with tryptophans in them. So it's really interesting, but we get the serotonin from the foods that we eat that have tryptophans in them, and then our body has serotonin receptors. So when we were talking about it earlier, I was saying like there are ways, you know, we can talk about the foods that have tryptophans in them, ways to boost how much serotonin levels that you have, but then there are ways to boost the receptors that you have. And so like some of the things that we're going to talk about are more ways to increase where you can receive serotonin and release serotonin whenever you're doing these activities.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. You and I did not talk about this before the podcast, but I am on both Lexapro and I take Adderall for my ADHD. And when I first started taking Adderall, I went through like this full hole, or like, what do you call it? Like
a deep dive rabbit hole?
Yeah. I went down a really deep dive rabbit hole and learned like a ton of things about Adderall. Yeah. And it boosts your serotonin for you as well. But so does Lexapro. So I was so nervous when
almost like a supplement, or like
it like tricks your body into thinking that you have more of that. You know, like into antidepressants and stuff like that.
Yes.
Do that.
Oh, SSRIs.
Yeah.
I got it.
And so when I first started taking them, a lot of the websites that were talking about like taking them together were like, be really careful because you might get a false sense of serotonin. And so you have to be careful because your body, like, this is going to produce way more for you than what is natural.
Yeah.
Or it could. It could. Not that it does 100% of the time. I was so nervous about that. I was like, I don't want to have like a false sense of serotonin, and then if I don't take it, like I can't.
I was gonna say, like, I bet that the risk has less to do with having the false sense of serotonin and more to do with when you don't have it.
Yeah.
Because that could make you feel like
like everything's
without
bad
it,
and
like you're depressed.
yes.
And I do think that both dopamine and serotonin have relations to depression.
I think
like
so.
Both of them, when you have low levels of them, can increase people's likelihood of depression.
Yeah.
But that is really interesting.
I think it was called serotonin syndrome. It was actually what it was literally called.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know. It's crazy. So if we're going to jump right into it,
Yeah.
the first one, and I think this is the biggest one, this is like the first one on every single list, is sunshine.
Yes.
Getting sunshine is so important. Because I'm just looking at this window right next to us, and the sunshine's there, and I feel like I just got a boost of serotonin right now.
Yeah,
So,
it's
yes.
so important. I've heard even before that it helps like with your circadian rhythm.
Oh, yeah.
So like Jared's really big on this actually. So we take our walks, talk about it on every episode.
Every
God damn
episode.
it.
At the end of our journey, or like at the 1 year, I'm going to go back and find every episode.
Oh
where
my
you say,
God.
on our walk.
Well, we take them. One of the reasons we take them in the morning is because it's so good for your body to get a burst of sunlight in the morning.
Yeah, you're supposed to have sunlight first thing in the morning.
Yeah, and then it also helps with your like nighttime routine or whatever.
Did you know that patients or people with dementia or Alzheimer's that they go by the sun without even knowing it? So there will like once the sun goes down,
heard this. Sundown.
Sundown something. We always do this on our podcast where I start talking about something and then we're like, wait, what's that called? But no, this is a real thing where, and with dogs too, or animals, it can happen where once the sun starts going down, you become a lot more agitated. You become a lot more like confused and like not really knowing your surroundings as much because you're on such a circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
And when that sun goes down, like you don't really have the...
That is interesting.
Isn't that?
And kind of sad. Alzheimer's gets me sad.
It's really sad. It's
Yeah.
awful. No,
But we're
real.
talking about serotonin.
Yeah, we
which
are.
is like
Sorry.
the happy chemicals. So
Yep, we are. Morgan, look outside. Look at the sun.
okay, I feel better. No, just kidding. Yeah. So sunlight. Did you want to say anything else about that?
No, but just that also it gives you all that vitamin C.
Yeah.
Which we know that you need. Yeah, scientists say it's really good for your circadian rhythm. You're supposed to have it first thing in the morning. Like, it just helps so much. So that is always a go-to for me. If I'm feeling really overstimulated or sad or anything like that, I try to spend as much time outside as I can because it genuinely makes me feel so much better.
Yeah, get outside for sure. I think that's a good one. So I talked a little bit about the foods rich in tryptophan.
Yes, I'm interested in this.
Yeah, I'll just give a little list. You could tell me if you feel like you like these foods.
Oh, probably not.
Fish is a big one. So
I like salmon.
I know that you like salmon, and salmon is high in tryptophans.
Hey.
And then like eggs, dairy. You like those foods.
I do.
Egg whites, at least.
Yeah.
Eggs, dairy, nuts. So there are specific ones, and you can like look them up as well. It'd be really easy to find. Turkey. So a lot of like protein-rich foods, honestly, it seems like. But here's what's interesting is the body needs not just the foods high in tryptophan, but in order to process them, it needs carbohydrates. So obviously, you know how I am. I'm very whole foods, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say like, oh, you need to eat your salmon with some potato chips or something like that, like some carbs.
Yeah.
Or you really need some pasta to go with your turkey or whatever. But your body does need carbs to release insulin, which helps your body process the tryptophan-rich foods. So it is a little bit complex. The body gets really complex when it comes to things like that and absorbing certain amino acids. But those are the foods. So if you wanted to add in, or if you don't have them already, you know, like some people already have these foods in their diets, but when you pair them together, like say that you already eat a lot of eggs, if you eat eggs in the morning for breakfast, maybe just have it with like with some fruit. Fruit has carbs. Or have it with like a whole grain piece of toast or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think the next one on my list is, and this is not scientifically backed, I don't think. My friend Lex put this on her Instagram story as a meme, I'm pretty sure. Oh. And it was like, girl, you're not having a bad day. You just need to wash your hair. And I have started living by that. So if you're having a bad day or you just need a feel-good feeling, seriously get in the shower and wash your hair. I don't know what it is, and it makes me feel so much better immediately. I think it's just a feeling of feeling clean.
Yeah. Sometimes when I'm sick, Jared will be like, you just need to take a hot shower.
Yeah!
So maybe there is something to it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it is scientifically backed, and I just didn't do research yet. I just found the meme and went with it. But I believe strongly in that one. If you're having a bad day, or you need to get out of a rut, or you're just feeling low, take a shower and wash your hair.
Yeah. One of mine that was kind of like that I thought was kind of funny, especially this last week being sick, was when I was like researching, something that I found was smiling can release serotonin, and that it can give your body a false sense of
Like reassurance.
It can trick your body into thinking that you are maybe like better than you are or whatever. Like it was specifically saying it helps boost your immune system, because if you smile, you release the serotonin and your body thinks that it helps ward off sickness or whatever. So like this week I'm like sitting around the house all sick and gross, and excuse me because I can tell that my voice sounds a little bit different, but I'm like sitting around the house coughing or whatever, and then I'll just be sitting there and all of a sudden I'm like smiling to myself, just like
looking like a crazy person.
Yeah, and I was in the shower the other day and I'm just showering and I'm like smiling, washing my hair, showering, smiling, taking my hot bath, like doing whatever I can, and I'm like, okay, body, you're not sick, you know?
Listen.
Yeah, so apparently smiling can do that too, which I know it's really funny, like goofy, but when I was reading about this, I even read an article where, and I don't know if this is scientifically backed or whatever, but a man and a woman, they had read about this, and they said that in the morning, it's literally a part of their morning routine that they spend 60 seconds smiling at themselves in the mirror.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, that seems kind of psychopathic.
Yeah, it does.
But at the same time,
like it's a scene in Joker or something.
yeah. But she was like, I don't know if I'm having like a rough go of it, or like throughout the day, I just like something bad happens, I just take 15 seconds to smile.
Aww.
And she says it makes her feel better. So
that's hilarious. I love that. Isn't it weird how you can trick your body into things?
I think, yeah, I mean, you definitely can.
Yeah, you really can. It's so weird. Like, you know that you're tricking your brain. So your brain does know that, but then it also gets tricked still.
It seems, yeah.
It's like, how are you so smart but so stupid?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. My next one that I had on my list was for a short, burst of serotonin. I had playing with your pets.
Oh,
so if you have pets, I just think playing
outside
with them
would be even better.
Oh yeah, I get that sunlight, baby. No, I think that playing with your pets is great, because then you get to watch them be happy. You're moving like your body a little bit. If you're playing, like, let's say you're kicking a ball around with them, or you're just playing fetch or anything like that, or your tug of war, like that's just fun. Your body's getting a little bit of a relax. It's getting like a little bit of a release. You're watching your dog. You can't not smile. Yeah. When you're watching your dog, or you're playing with those feather things with your cats. Like, everyone loves that. Mm-hmm. So you're smiling.
Put it all
tricking
together.
your body again. Mm-hmm.
So that also goes along with working out and like physical exercise. I'm glad that we didn't say this first, because I would say this and the eating like whole foods or tryptophan rich foods.
Yeah.
Were really high up on lists that I found online. Mm-hmm. But I feel like there are creative ways that you can exercise and like move your body, you know? But
you don't have to go to the gym.
Yeah, but physical, like playing with your pet, but physical exercise was a really high one on here. I would be willing to bet that that's kind of like what you release when you get done and you're like, wow, I feel really good. I feel really accomplished. And so that is something that you can definitely do, like a more classic like workout or whatever, or run or whatever.
Yes.
But I know for me, I feel really... I work out in the mornings before my brain can really catch up with what I'm doing. So it's kind of like the tricking myself thing. Like, I trick myself into working out before I realize what I'm doing. And then I'm like, oh, okay. 30 minutes later, I only was really awake for like 10 minutes of that. So
yeah, which is so crazy to me. I actually, whenever you were just talking about that, Mason and I say all the time, like, whenever we don't want to go to the gym, we're like, we know we won't regret it, though. Like, you never regret working out. I feel like after you're done, you're never like, oh, I wish I hadn't done that, or like, I wish I had spent my time doing something else. Like, you always feel so much better. So it must be a serotonin release. I hadn't thought about that. That's cool.
I heard a trainer one time say, you never regret the workout you did, but you often regret the workout you didn't do.
Yes, Every time. That's how we end up going to the gym most times. Is because we're like, we'll regret it if we don't. Even though we don't want to right now, we will regret it later on when we go to bed. We'll be like, that was such a waste.
Yeah, that speaks to the power of having an accountability buddy too.
Yes, it 100% does. It's so much easier that way.
I think it would be a lot easier to just go home if it was just you, you know?
Oh, for sure. Did you know that, I know you know this, but that working out also helps with, like, your pain receptors? So, like, if you are on your period or something and you're cramping a lot,
blood flow.
Oh, is that blood flow?
I think so.
Oh, well, because, like, hangovers, if you're super hungover and you go work out, it actually legitimately helps. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Why are you laughing? Did you do a workout hungover?
No, I'm not thinking of that. I'm thinking of a time that you and I were drinking and that we did a workout and
yeah, we were drunk.
You loved it.
It was
so funny. But no, I definitely can like attest to the fact that I have woken up and been like kind of hungover and then done like 20 minutes of cardio or like a nice weightlifting workout or whatever and not felt hungover anymore.
I think that's so crazy.
Yeah.
I think that's so weird. It's
probably
like
some of it is
body.
placebo. Yeah, tricking your body. Yeah, probably some of it is just like you think that you are.
Yeah, maybe it's that serotonin boost that you get whenever you do it and then your body feels better. It's not as anxious and as like tired. You're just a little bit more uplifted.
Yeah.
I love that one. My next one is, and this is making me laugh because I feel like earlier I gave the disclosure about some of these are scientifically backed and some of them are just ones we made up. Morgan's are scientifically backed. I'm making mine up. But I feel like listening to nostalgic music, I do that whenever.
I definitely found music on lists that I found.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me feel better because I just made that one up. I said, no, this makes me feel so much better all the time. So when I'm feeling, like in a rut or I'm just a little sad, like I keep saying throughout this podcast, if you're feeling like this, listening to nostalgic music, it makes me feel so much better.
Do you have like a playlist that you go to?
I sure do, but mine, it's called Divorced Dad's Bangers, even though our dad is not divorced. It's just all the 2000s rock music that we used to listen to all the time.
Like Nickelback?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I love it. I love
fun.
that playlist. So if I'm like needing to get something done at work or I'm like, I feel like I listen to that playlist a lot when I'm cleaning the house or I am feeling like, I'll just turn that one on because I know every single song and it makes me so happy and then I was smiling while I'm singing it and I'm like, wow, what a great song. I forgot about this one. So I do that, but I also always listen to One Direction because that is nostalgic for me at the same time of being very current for me.
I wonder, I'll have to look into this, but I wonder if there are certain like chords or keys or something like that release different, I don't know,
There's
things
gotta
inside
be.
of you.
I feel like there's definitely got to be.
I don't know.
Cool.
Music is really scientific, so I totally believe that. But
too.
Yeah, so the next one on my list, gratitude. I kept seeing this, and I definitely think that this is true. I feel like whenever you write something down that you're grateful for, or you even just say out loud, like, I posted this the other day, but I was listening to a podcast. Did I already talk about this on the podcast? I'm not sure. Julie Andrews.
I don't
think
maybe
I
did she do that like 60 things a day or whatever that she was grateful for, something like that? What'd she do?
No.
Okay, Julie Andrews.
Okay,
Wow.
so
Julie Andrews
like Queen of Genovia.
Yeah. Okay.
Or Mary Poppins. Or
the Sound of Music girl.
Yeah. This
I don't know her name.
I actually can't think of it right now either. Well, anyway, one of my coworkers, thank you, Wendy, recommended this podcast called Wiser Than Me. It's really cute. And the host just interviews women that are typically older than her, but like Julie Andrews, I think she was in her 80s whenever
goodness.
Yeah, and she just interviews them and kind of asks them just like
about their life. And
yeah. And I guess, I didn't know this, but Julie Andrews has this quote, "Aren't we lucky?"
Aww.
It's not a quote, it's just like a motto, like words to live by. Yeah. And the reason I said this is because I posted some pictures the other day after our trip to Jamaica, and I just was feeling so lucky. And honestly, even luckier this week after finding out that they were hit with a hurricane.
Yes.
Like a Category 5.
Yeah.
Freaking.
Like 4 days after you guys got home.
Seriously, yeah. I was very thankful for our timing, but my God, anybody that's there, I just feel terrible for. I feel terrible for people, residents there. I mean, just terrible.
I thought about that too, because you guys were there for a wedding, and I was thinking about if that had been you guys, like that would have been so awful for the couple, and it would have just been terrible.
Just devastating. Yeah. But
so
anyway,
aren't you lucky?
Yeah. Anyway, so we got back, and I just was thinking about that podcast. She just always. It's kind of her catchphrase is like, aren't we lucky? And I was just like, oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, what if you just after, you're sitting there in your air-conditioned restaurant and your food's taking a little bit longer than you expect, and you're sitting there with your family who are all living or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just said, instead of being like, oh my God, the food's taking forever. Like, couldn't you just be like, aren't we lucky? I mean, we are so fortunate, Yeah.
So,
anyway,
motto.
That was such a... Thanks for letting me be... What's that called? My soap opera?
Your soapbox?
Yeah, my soapbox. Yeah, so I feel like gratitude's a huge one that can help you long term, like how we were talking about. Less so motivation related and more so like mood related with the serotonin, and I feel like it can definitely help uplift your mood, or just the more that you practice gratitude, I feel like the more that you are able to stay happy and content,
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever you practice gratitude, is it something that you just kind of say to yourself? Is it something that like you write down in a journal? Are you like...
I've had a few different practices over time. So, I have had several like online boot camps and stuff that I've run and stuff like that. So sometimes in our boot camps we'll have like a challenge, like a gratitude challenge or something like that. So I've done that where I've like shared on social media for 30 days or something like that. Most recently, I have like a little journal that like right before I do my workout, I write just a page of whatever I was thankful for. And so it really just depends on my season of life. It's changed, but a lot of the time I will have something that I'm writing down in a day. For a while, it was like when I would go to the bathroom in the morning, I had a little notebook just right next to the toilet. And I would write down 1, 2, 3. I wrote down 3 things.
Wait, that's such a good idea.
Isn't that goofy?
No, I love that.
Yeah, but I would do that. I think I still have that little notebook actually like in the bathroom, but like I said, it just kind of evolves with whatever my morning routine is.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's putting something on my phone, or sometimes it's writing. I usually do have some written form of gratitude in a day. And then outside of that, I think it's just implementing little phrases like the aren't we lucky or something like that to
and just being mindful
consistently turn your brain on to that line of thinking.
I really like that. I feel like I'm going to start using that one, especially for reminders of like being patient of aren't we lucky, because I'm so impatient I feel like I'm patient with people in real life, but then like as soon as I get into a long line or as soon as I get into a crowded store or something like that, I'm like, oh my God, like these people are so stupid, they can't blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So
it's because you don't know them.
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
If you were with me and I was like taking kind of long and I was like, I'm sorry I'm taking so long, you'd be like, girl, no,
take
no
your time.
But as soon as it's somebody that you don't know, you're like, these motherfuckers.
Yes, I'm like, can you walk a little bit faster, please? Yeah, so that is good. I need to start doing that. I think that would help me a lot. My next one on my list was doing one of your hobbies without a phone or without a TV or even without music on. Like, I kind of just want you to be able to focus on that hobby that you're doing. Now, I feel like a hobby could kind of go more into that dopamine side of things where it's that repeated practice. So for the hobby with the serotonin side of things, I just want you to do it because you know that it makes you feel good. So you're needing that real quick thing. Like, I know my sister-in-law, Morgan, she crochets all the time.
She's so good at it.
And she's so good at it.
She has the cutest tops. I'm like, you made that?
I know, it's so cool. It's so cool. So I feel like that is like a cool thing. So if you like crochet a lot, do this like while you're needing some time to unwind, or if you read, like go ahead and do that, or I don't know, just something in a form of a hobby that could help just brighten your mood.
I think that my next one, I saw this on a lot of lists, was like deep breathing and meditation.
Oh yeah.
I'm not good at this, you guys. Actually, I shouldn't say that because that is identity solidifying.
It's self-limiting.
Yes. No, I am working on improving how good at this I am. But there's a lot of science to support that lots of neurotransmitters are activated actually whenever you take like a few minutes to just do some deep breathing. And, you know, bonus if you can do it out in the sunshine. But the workouts that I do are from an app, and there's tons of meditations in there too. And so I have been trying to use like the 5-minute ones. I'm sure that you can, there's like the Calm app, I think is free. There's tons of free things that you can find to support if you want to make this a part of your daily routine.
Sometimes I'll find meditation even on Spotify.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm not really a Spotify girly, so I don't really see that stuff. But I do think even like Apple, if you have an Apple Watch, I think even maybe the fitness.
Oh yeah, it's got so much meditation videos on there.
Yeah, so for me, this is something that I'm trying to implement more. But I have noticed that like if you do have you ever heard of box breathing?
No.
It's like you do equal amounts breathing in, holding after you've breathed in, breathing out, and then holding after you breathe out. So it's breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds. Or it doesn't have to be 4. It could be 8 or however many. Yeah, but that is all. I do that sometimes. And there's a bunch of there's like triangle breathing and box breathing and all these different kinds. You can look them up. But when I was reading through ways to boost your serotonin receptors, this was one that could help a lot. So it's definitely one I want to add into my life more.
Yeah, I love that. I'm also not great at meditation because I just find that's hard to turn off your brain. But I think that meditation could be, I know that that's like the actual scientific or the actual definition for meditation is like literally like turning off your brain and like no thoughts basically. But that it can be really, really hard. But I do the meditation in the car and things like that, or like on Spotify whenever I find them. Just whenever I'm finding myself being really overwhelmed or overstimulated, or like just having a really bad day. I've had to do this at work before where I'm just like so annoyed for no reason, and I'll be working on something and I can't get it. So I'll let my work know, like, okay, guys, I'm just going to go get like a real quick coffee. I'll be right back. And then the time that it takes me to go get a coffee and back, I listen to like a meditation the whole time. One that just like helps ground me, and one that I'm like, okay, you can get through the day. And then I have such a better day every time. Yeah. After I've done some type of meditation. I'm so much better.
It makes so much sense. I remember when we were first talking about this kind of episode, you like put something, it was like in your notes when we were comparing episode ideas, you put something like, I want to be high off serotonin or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like, I want to live off serotonin or something like that. And I feel like when you are in that like agitated sense, like in your body and in your mind or whatever, there's no way that you are like living off serotonin at that point.
Oh no.
You know, so it's really awesome, I think, to pinpoint times when you're like, okay, physically I'm agitated, or like mentally I am agitated. Yeah, like because we know that. I know that point, and I push it sometimes. And it's like if you just take your body's signal that you are agitated, you are like pent up, you are overwhelmed or whatever, and take a minute to practice even one of these things.
Yeah.
Take a minute to smile. Take a minute to breathe or meditate or whatever. You will probably come back and your body will not feel so frustrated.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like you could actually look at any of these things on our list and do that. Like whenever you're feeling really overwhelmed at work, you can look at any one of the things that we're giving you right now and go to the bathroom and do that for, 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
I hadn't even thought about that, but our list totally does. They're all quick.
Yeah, well, that's what we're all about. Small but impactful ways to fill your cups, make your life feel more full.
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting kind of close to the end of our list. So the only other real thing on here, I think, is the physical contact.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about this one.
Yeah.
I effing love this. People, you may have heard this before, that like 20-second hugs release serotonin. I had not heard the equivalent for kissing, but apparently it's 6 seconds for kissing. So I told Jared this like a couple weeks ago, and so every once in a while I'll be like walking through the house all rushed or whatever, and then he comes over and he'll like hug me or whatever, and he's like, 1,
Oh,
2, 3. It's so funny.
that is really cute.
And it's so funny because I am all irritated or like, I'm like, I don't have time for this. You know, like I'm on a mission to do whatever it is that I'm doing. But it's in those moments, like we were just saying, with your body feeling agitated or pent up or high stress, that you need it probably the most.
Yeah,
you know?
like, yes, you do.
Yeah, but I think I saw it for maybe the first time I saw it was just like on social media or something. I don't know, like
Probably.
20 seconds. I don't know. Our sister Julie is really good at giving long hugs, so maybe she knows this trick. I don't know.
Probably. I feel like she gets the long hugs from our papa.
Oh my gosh, probably.
I made that up. I don't know. But.
Yeah. But yeah, so I've heard the long hugs thing, but I had never heard the 6-second kisses thing. And then when we were on our trip in Jamaica, someone actually put that in the couple's guest book.
No way.
Yeah, it was so weird because I had just read it like the week before.
Oh my goodness.
And they had wrote like, make sure kisses always last 6 seconds.
Yeah.
And I talked with them about that, and they were like, yeah, it releases serotonin. And I was like, OMG, that's crazy.
Wow, how topical.
Yeah, so it was Adriana and Cameron actually were the couple that wrote that in there. So shout out to them.
That is so sweet. I love that. And I love that Jared like can tell whenever you need it, and he's like, listen, you're not listening to your body's triggers, I'm gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
So he gives you
I
that
don't even know if
20-second
if he's that cognizant of that. It seems to always be when I'm trying to do something else.
But like, you're going too fast.
But it does seem like it's at the right moments when I need it.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's a really cool one that you could either do for yourself, so you could go up to your partner, you could go up to your friend, whoever you're with at the time, and your pet. I wonder if you could get that from them too, you know?
Yeah.
A quick 20-second hug from your pet. How does that not make you feel better? But I feel like you could also take that into doing it for other people.
Yeah.
So whenever you notice that they're needing something, or like, I wonder if you could even do that with your kids. Like,
yeah,
we don't have kids, but yeah, like if you notice maybe your 3-year-old's getting really frustrated by something, just wouldn't that be so cute if you start implementing a 20-second hug and then they just take that into their real life?
Yeah.
Like, I'm feeling kind of overwhelmed. Can we hug for 20 seconds? Like,
Aww.
that's precious.
That is precious.
I don't know if that's likely. If you have kids, let us know.
Nah.
But I think that's cute.
I could see it, like a kid's throwing a fit or something, or they're really stressed or crying or whatever, and you just embrace for a bit,
yeah,
you know?
I feel like let's hug for 20 seconds, see how we feel afterwards. Something like that would be cute. So yeah, I like that one. You could take that into a lot of areas of your life.
Yeah, so I think that was kind of our final one.
Yeah.
We ran through quite a few there, so don't feel like you have to implement them all, although most of them are really quick.
Yeah.
But I think that in closing, what we would challenge you to do is maybe just take 2 or 3 of these and try them out today. See how it goes, and definitely if you feel like it's boosting your mood, boosting your serotonin, making you feel better, then definitely please share it with us on social media. You know, tag us on social media, or you can even like DM us and be like, oh my god, I tried this and I added this into my week and I feel like I'm feeling a lot better. Yeah,
we love to hear the feedback of if our podcasts or like our episodes are helping you guys. I feel like whenever we do hear from someone that like, I really got something from this episode, it just makes, I mean, that's like the whole point, you know?
Yeah,
so it makes us feel really, really good.
It fills our cups.
Yes, it
to
does.
hear that it's filling your cups.
Yes, it does. I also want to say that if you are listening to this and you have some other ideas for how you yourself release serotonin or get a little serotonin boost, I would also love to hear those ideas.
Oh, yeah.
And we could share those with our followers too. Well, guys, thanks so much for tuning into this episode this week. We had a lot of fun doing it. Make sure you tune in next week. And thanks for listening to this week.
Cheers!
Cheers!